There's so much that's wrong with this bill, it's hard to know where to start. But I want to focus on its impact on a group that are often forgotten about: Gypsy, Roma and traveller communities. Racism against these groups is often described as the last acceptable form of racism. Let's remember that racism isn't just about physical and verbal attacks. It can be contained in policy. That, sadly, has been illustrated many times in this House over the years, and we're seeing it again in this legislation. Let's make it clear. These measures are targeted specifically at the most misunderstood and marginalised of groups. That cannot be emphasised enough. Firstly, the bill creates a new criminal offence of trespass with intent to reside, deliberately targeting Gypsy and Roma traveller communities. Trespass is currently a civil offence, giving the police the ability to deal with disputes flexibly and sensitively. This puts a sledgehammer through that. Secondly, this new offence comes with the power to seize vehicles. Let's just think about that for a second. In effect, that means the seizure of a travelling family's home. Very often, everything they own will be contained within that vehicle. That's their way of life. Thirdly, this bill brings in a raft of measures to fine, imprison and ban travellers from certain areas for longer, with the use of a catch-all and legally dubious term, damage, disruption and distress. This, without doubt, will leave many travelling families destitute, without any access to services or support. Of course, all of this is designed by the government to get populist applause among sections of the media and some settled communities. Well, I'm sorry to have to say this, but targeting Gypsy, Roma and traveller communities to win approval is not just cheap, it's a disgrace. Because apart from all this, the emphasis on criminalisation and enforcement ignores the elephant in the room, which is the lack of permanent and transit sites in local areas. Fortunately, my local authority, Durham County Council, has a very good record on this, the result of a lot of hard work over many years. But across the country, barriers are put in the way of both permanent and negotiated sites with basic amenities such as a water supply, sanitation and refuse collection. Life expectancy in Gypsy and traveller communities is between 10 and 25 years shorter than the general population. Any decent government committed to equalities would be addressing the damaging health inequalities experienced by these communities up and down the country, instead of further demonising them. There are solutions to be found. They involve working together, not driving wedges between communities. Let's have some imagination and tolerance and come up with them.